He's stronger than any of us.
But he's not stronger than all of us.
The new Fantastic Four reboot has arrived. No, not that one. No, not that one either. Yep, there we go. Directed by the guy who did Chronicle, which I was a really big fan of, and starring a group of really great young actors: Miles Teller from Whiplash, Michael B. Jordan from The Wire, Kate Mara from Everything. What could go wrong? Okay, yeah, okay, that could go wrong. Hi, I'm Gabe Hohreiter, and what happened here? I really wanted to like this movie, seriously, I did, but it's gonna take a second to explain just what went wrong. Now, there were warning signs here, so let's talk about how we saw this coming, what sucked, how things could have been done differently, and a little glimmer of hope for the future. Flame shields up, fire fingers here. This is hashtag news. Okay, just so we're all on the same page, a quick recap of who these heroes are. Fantastic Four follows the adventures of 4 scientists who are exposed to cosmic rays and come back with superpowers. There's this mega genius, Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, comes back with the ability to stretch his limbs. His wife, Sue Storm, aka Invisible Woman, returns with the ability to create force fields that can make her transparent. Her brother, Johnny Storm, can ignite himself into flames and fly as the Human Torch. And finally, the Thing, Benjamin Grimm, who has super strength and is made of these really intense orange rocks. His eyebrows kind of look like pizza crust. Delicious. Together, this superhero family battles Dr. Doom, a masked metal rival to Reed who strives to better the world by conquering it and proving once and for all that he's smarter than everyone else. It's actually sort of similar to Donald Trump's plan. Now, how'd they cover the origin in the movie? The movie tries to follow closely to the 2004 comics of the Ultimate Fantastic Four. In the movie, a group of young scientists led by Reed Richards work to unlock the secret to interdimension science-y travel. This is now how they get their powers instead of cosmic rays. Now, what were the warning signs that this wasn't gonna go well? The cast didn't even get to watch the movie until the premiere. The critics that did get to watch it were embargoed until the premiere, meaning they couldn't tell anyone what they thought until it was already out. The film was made in a rush because Fox just needed to make a Fantastic Four film in order to retain the rights to the franchise. Now first, remember, I want to be positive here. Is there anything good about this movie? When I first heard about the reboot, I was really excited to see a new modern take on the Fantastic Four. The first trailer had a cool interstellar vibe that was like a dream about a possible future and cast our characters almost as explorers going on an adventure more than superheroes. That sounded cool and new and fresh. And a few of the scenes where they first gain their powers are really cool. You get that awe and fear of someone seeing how their body's changing in front of them. Really reminiscent of some classic horror movies like The Fly. There was a time when you couldn't have paid Jeff Goldblum to wear a shirt. Okay, so that was the good. Now, all of the rest. It seemed like it could have been a fresh story, but now it's just the movie we've all seen already. It's a superhero team getting used to new powers, deciding to maybe use them for good, yada yada. Let's face it, the bar for superhero movies has skyrocketed since the 90s. If that origin stuff is the part that feels the most tired, then we can't spend 80 minutes building up to the Fantastic Four teaming up. That's basically the entire movie. The X-Men don't wait 80 minutes before getting together.
Excuse me, I'm Eric Lensher.
Sounds Xavier.
Go fuck yourself.
You see my point? Do you follow me? Side note, another sign that this production was rushed, they couldn't even afford to finish one of the biggest action sequences, the one teased in the trailer where the Thing drops out of the plane, so they just cut that whole midsection out of the movie, so it feels even more like there's no story until the end. 2, these movies have to be about their interactions, and in this movie, our heroes barely interact with each other except when they stare at computer screens and talk about movie science. I already do that myself, and let me tell you, it's really boring. Fantastic Four are at their best when the superheroics are a backdrop for a story about family dynamics. Johnny and Ben teasing each other is a must-have. Johnny! However, since they wanted a grittier, realistic take on the story, they kind of just left out all the fun. Number 3, the villain. Yikes. Victor Von Doom is the most memorable villain from Fantastic Four lore, and he starts as a promising character, and I actually didn't mind the rewriting of his backstory to make him have more direct ties to the rest of the characters, but when he comes back as the big bad Dr. Doom, it's more confusing than menacing. It's not really clear why he's really doing this scheme.
We tried to play it that we were just people at a thing in a situation.
But even worse than that, you can't even tell what his freaking powers are. Force fields? Becoming a living rave glow stick? Look at this scene here where he just walks through the hallway and is inexplicably unharmed by all the bullets. Rather than feeling like a threat, he just kind of floats through the hall. That's not a threat. You're not being threatening. You're just moving unharmed. Like, I do that every day. Like, look. Nothing's happening to me. I could be Dr. Doom. 4, the lack of action. Let's be real. Big budget summer blockbusters live and die by the quality of their action. For whatever issues it has, Man of Steel did not skimp on the mega power fisticuffs. And with the Fantastic Four having such a variety of powers, it's easy to imagine some of the crazy things they could be doing. Well, keep imagining, because there's only 2 real action sequences. The interdimension travel and the big end of the movie battle. That's it. That's it! Huh? Now, like I mentioned before, a lot of the fun stuff teased in the trailers were just edited down or cut out entirely. Sorry, kids. kids, the thing doesn't fight a tank. 5, just some weird choices with the character interpretations. You know, there's a reason why every incarnation before made sure to have the thing wear pants. I'm caught up in what's going on in Rockman's groin area. How did he take a pee? Are those 3 rocks it? Is that the thing's thing? And I should be paying attention to your movie. Do you see the problem here? Also, they can't really change this later and give him pants in the next movie because it'll just be this weird thing where he was streaking all throughout this movie, his rubble all exposed, grinding against itself. Ow. And sticking with the thing, they also made his classic catchphrase, "It's clobbering time," into a terrible memory for the guy. It's what his brother used to say to him when they would beat him as a child.
Clobbering time.
Listen, not everything needs to be super dark and gritty. Let's keep some fun in this, maybe. Oh, and another quick example of how these weird character interpretations work.
People running the earth, the same one's running into the ground, so maybe it deserves what it's got coming to it.
Dr. Doom over here.
Come on! So how can a movie like this get made?
Gotta say, it's fantastic.
Say that again?
It's fantastic.
Guys, I got it.
What? That's not a movie. That's not a movie. As I mentioned before, it seems that Fox's contract over the Fantastic Four could extend forever as long as it keeps making movies, or it can give up on the franchise altogether. So Fox made a movie by their deadline, even though it clearly didn't want to, and didn't give the movie the attention it deserved. Also, this part is really speculation, but rumor has it that the director of this movie, Josh Trank, just couldn't figure out how to make a movie at this scale, and his issues here are supposedly what got him fired from one of the Star Wars spin-offs too. Again, Disney and Trank deny that, but this movie clearly had a lot of top-down problems, so it's not hard to believe that there were directorial issues. Okay, I know I'm sounding like a hater, but this movie is just that rough. So let's talk about how they could improve. Number 1, give the villain more. Think of your favorite comic book movie villains. Loki, Magneto, the Joker, all effective, interesting, and highly motivated characters. Hell, the Joker and Magneto are so interesting they became main characters in other movies. Meanwhile, Dr. Doom is barely in the movie, and his only motivation is
I've always been alone.
Dr. Doom is the flagship villain for the Fantastic Four. Show us why. 2, let Reed and our heroes enjoy themselves at something. We love it when we get to watch our hero in his element doing what he loves, whether it's inventing more Iron Man suits or James Bond trying new gadgets. Aside from Johnny, nobody in this movie seems to be having any fun. Hell, even Superman in Man of Steel got to wreck that guy's truck for being a jerk. The super tantrums and the super-powered hijinks, this isn't stuff that we want to lose. This is the part of superhero movies that we love. It's the whole reason we watch superhero movies, because we want to fantasize about what we would do if we had these superpowers. You know what I'm saying? Number 3, there are in fact 2 good Fantastic Four movies already made that you can model the movies off of. No, not the one with Chris Evans and Michael not Hank from Breaking Bad chickless. First is Pixar's The Incredibles, a heartfelt action romp about a family dealing with their superpowers, and one of them even stretches. Or Josh Trank's own Chronicle, a low-budget sci-fi movie about a group of teens who gain superpowers and got to deal with the consequences when one of them becomes evil. Trank got the job for Fantastic Four off of this movie, and it makes sense because both The Incredibles and Chronicle spend a lot of time showing us what makes these characters tick. Look to those films to see about how to make us care about our heroes and understand our villains and their motivations. Important note, this isn't really a Marvel movie. A lot of people get confused about this. It's important to note that while Fantastic Four is a Marvel comic book property, it's Fox who technically own the rights to the movie, at least for as long as they keep making these movies. This exists in the universe that X-Men exists in, not the Avengers. Now Marvel, however, would love to get this property back, and here's the glimmer of hope I was talking about earlier. It wasn't until The Amazing Spider-Man 2 underperformed that Sony worked out a deal with Marvel to let Spidey come home. Now Spidey's gonna appear in Captain America Civil War, and it's what fans have wanted forever. Out of the ashes of this, there's a chance that Fox could come to their senses and let Marvel, who have been mostly killing it with their films, take the reins on Fantastic Four. Now, if Marvel took over, here are some predictions. They would let the Four live up to their nickname of the First Family. Reed Richards and Sue Storm are sort of like the Jay-Z and Beyonce of the Marvel Universe. The ultimate power couple. Can you imagine Tony Stark ever meeting someone as, if not more intelligent than himself? That's Reed Richards. You know how the big bad in Avengers is Thanos? You haven't seen it yet, but Marvel might be able to show us the version of Reed Richards that could eat Thanos for breakfast. He's already famous for defeating Galactus, a freaking giant purple planet-eating god. What's one more? They'd also let them cross into other properties, and a lot of the Four's best storylines involve those crossovers. The Thing and the Hulk forever have had this rivalry of who's stronger. I mean, can you imagine that fight scene? Johnny Storm and Spider-Man were once wisecracking superhero roommates. All the other characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe are old and grizzled. Wouldn't it be cool to get some smart-ass young blood in there? Oh, and actually, did I mention that Spider-Man once joined the Fantastic Four and his costume was a paper bag on his head? Tell me you don't want to see that on the big screen. Okay, I know that this was way too much for the casual fan, but I'm just kind of bummed, you know, because, again, I really wanted to like this movie. I'm normally not a hater. I hate haters, but this thing had to be said, okay? Because if enough people say it, we maybe just might get the Fantastic Four movie that we want, and this freaking holding on to the rights stuff will go away. Let me know in the comments how much you disagree with me, because someone always will. But any other ideas you have for saving this franchise, we're all ears. I'm gonna be swimming around in the comments. Oh, and hey, if you subscribe, I promise you we're not usually this negative. I'll prove it. I'll admit that it was weird earlier when I said the Thing didn't wear pants, but I'll stand by my buddy and I'll join him, okay?
Oh,
What?
why does yours also look like rocks?
All right, look, I was once ashamed, but not anymore. It's a condition.